As the fight for free tertiary education for the poor continues, one NGO believes more needs to be done during the formative years as well. Cotlands is quoting research indicating that investing in education during the foundation stage is far more cost-effective than waiting until children are at school or university. Well, for more on this, we're joined in the studio by Cotlands CEO Jackie Schoeman. Jackie, good morning. Thank you very much for coming in. As an NGO, Cotlands focuses on children. I'm sure you see a lot of examples of how things can go wrong and what possibly could be done. I just want to start there. As a country, South Africa, from what you're experiencing in terms of early childhood development, how are we doing?
Not very well, sadly. I think most of the stats show that about only 30% of children are accessing formal ECD services. And in addition to that, research has shown that it's really important that good quality ECD lays a foundation for successful schooling later on. So I think we're starting to see a big gap between the children that are attending school and the children that don't have those opportunities.
And only 30% of our children access early childhood development programs. So what's happening to the 70%?
Well, they're probably starting school not really ready to learn. And then the barriers just get bigger and bigger and bigger, the learning barriers as they go through, because they haven't had the good foundation of pre-maths and pre-literacy. So, and I think the end result is the poor matric results.
I guess that speaks to our situation as a country with such a huge equality or inequality gap and poverty levels that many households are focusing maybe on bread and butter issues.
And survival, yes.
And survival than this kind of issues. How early should one start? And what can a parent yourself do if you can't access these ECD facilities?
In terms of how early you should start, the first 1,000 days is critical, and that starts while the mom is pregnant, which should have good nutrition, good prenatal care, all those things. So, I think that sometimes we start to think that maybe development only starts at school, whereas actually development starts from the time.
So the first 3 years of a child's life are very important.
It's critical. That's when your brain is the most actively developing, and that sort of really does set the foundation for lifelong learning. So, and I think sometimes we, as a country, think we should outsource education, to teachers and formal people. But children mostly learn, but their basic learning happens in the home. On household level, just reading your child a story, talking to the child. I think that's really, really important. Parents are busy; they don't often spend the time just to actually talk to the children and tell them things about life and about simple things like the table is made from glass. Those kind of informal learnings that children can learn along the way. Even when you doing tasks like preparing the meal, there's lots to be learned if the child joins you. Just the fact that if you boil something, it makes it soft. That's the beginnings of science, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So in your household, no matter where you are, you could find opportunities to stimulate your child's thinking and interest and engagement.
Yes. So I think what we're trying to do as an organization is to take early learning to children. In the perfect world, there would be lovely structures where they go 5 days a week with a nice formal curriculum. But if you look at where many of our children live, particularly in the rural areas or the under-resourced informal settlements, it's not going to happen. So we can't actually say to those children, well, no, you're just not going to have the opportunity. So we have a non-center-based program where we actually take the learning to the children. So we would run play groups in households or in community halls, or any informal place where you can gather enough children. And research is showing that even that is, although it's not ideal, it really is benefiting children.
And how well is that program supported?
There's actually a lot of interest, particularly with the Department of Social Development, who's realized that it is a barrier to trying to get to reach the developmental goals of having access for all the children. So they are also looking at more innovative ways of taking ECD to children.
Okay, now thank you very much for sharing those views with us. That's Cotlands CEO Jackie Schoeman. We now continue our bulletin with this story. The residents of the notorious Cotlands hostel in Umlazi, Durban, are now calling for the army to be deployed there. They believe the police have failed them. More than 50 people have been killed in that area since March last year.
Residents of Cotlands hostel are living in fear. They say over 30 people have been killed this year alone. The fighting is over the allocation of hostel beds.
Government is not doing enough to stop this violence. If it is necessary, government can put even SANDF here to stop this violence.
The latest victims are 2 males. One was shot dead on Friday and the second on Saturday. One of them was an ANC branch leader, Richard Mbona, who was shot at the local taxi rank. Police say they're taking action.
In the Cleveland hostel, we have deployed a number of police officers who are working day and night. It is, they are working 24 hours. We even activated the satellite police station that is there at the hostel.
Relatives of victims say they haven't seen any arrests.
The grandson of a prominent struggle icon is expected to appear in the Johannesburg Magistrate Court today. The 24-year-old is accused of raping a minor at a restaurant in Greenside, Johannesburg in August. His legal team claims the sex was consensual. The suspect is currently out on 7,000 rand bail. The case was postponed on Friday because the presiding officer dealing with the matter was not available. And still coming up on our program, supporters of Myanmar's opposition leader are celebrating this morning. We'll tell you why after the break.
I'm the neurosurgeon, the brain doctor.
I'm the cardiologist, the heart doctor.
I'm the bank balance specialist, the wallet doctor. Relax, you're in good hands. Take it from the wallet doctor. Get the premium hospital plan from Clientele. We pay up to 5,000 Rand per day in hospital. That's up to